Afternoon mga Kals! Welcome to another video lesson in Learning Strand 2, the ecosystem. I know that you will learn a lot to our topic for this afternoon as we travel and know more about ecosystem. By the way, it's me, Teacher Vincent, your teacher for today. Please bring your notebooks and ballpen for you to write the important ideas because afterwards there is an activity after this lesson. By the end of the module, you are expected to explain what an ecosystem is, identify the components of an ecosystem, describe the role of the components of an ecosystem, and last, differentiate natural ecosystem from man-made ecosystem. Have you been to this place as beautiful as the one in the picture above? How wonderful it is to such a beauty. Look closely at the picture. Do you often see this kind of environment around you? Look at the picture below. Is this what you often see? The trees in the picture have been cut down. Cans, bottles, plastics, and even dead animals float in the river. Do you want to live in this kind of environment? Before you start studying this module, take the following test first to find out how much you already know about this topic. And circle the letter of your choice. Number 1. Which is an example of an ecosystem? A. River, B. Flower pot, C. Dump site, or D. All of the above? The correct answer is letter D. Number 2. Which of the following is not an organism? A. Man, B. Air, C. Banana, or letter D. Cockroach? The correct answer is letter D. Orchid lives and grow on a tree trunks. This means that a tree trunk is the blank of an orchid. A. Niche, B. Community, C. Ecosystem, or D. Habitat? The correct answer is letter D. Number 4. Which of the following make up a community? Letter A. A group of people, plants, and animals in the house. B. A herd of horses, C. A plot of soil, or D. A school of milkfish? The correct answer is letter A. Number 5. Which of the following is an abiotic component of an ecosystem? A. Light, B. Worm, C. Tree, or D. Bird? The correct answer is letter A. Well, how was it? Did you got them all? If all your answers are correct, very good. This shows that you already know much about the lesson. You may still study the lesson to review what you already know. Who knows, you might learn a few more new things as well. If you got a low score, don't feel bad. This means that this module is for you. It will help you understand some important concepts that you can apply in your daily life. If you study this module carefully, you will learn the answer to all the items in the test. There is a saying that no man is an island. It means nobody can live alone. Everyone needs people and other living and non-living things in order to survive. Look at the picture. It shows a man who is alone on his flying carpet. He is isolated from other people and things on earth. He does not eat nor drink. His nose is even clipped to keep him breathing the air. Will he survive under those conditions? Ecosystem. The word ecosystem is split into two parts, ecological and system. Ecological refers to the relationship between a living thing and where it lives. while system is something that you do over and over, and it's similar to your daily routine. What is an ecosystem? All living things that interact in a specific area, whether they are living things or non-living things. What is environment? Everything around you makes up your environment. Your immediate surroundings is your environment. Your environment is made up of all the people, things, plants, and animals around you. What do you find in an environment? We see an environment biotic and abiotic. If we say biotic, this is made up of all living things in the environment and also called organisms. Examples are plants, animals, and human beings. If we say abiotic, this is made up of all non-living things in the environment. Examples are water, sun, moon, temperature, air, and soil. An ecosystem may be small, such as a plant in a pot, an aquarium, an orchid on a tree, or even a drop of pond water. The plant in a pond interacts with the ants, worms, and other organisms in the soil. It also interacts with the soil, water, and air, which help it grow. A drop of pond water has very tiny organisms that interact with the water. An ecosystem may be large, such as a river, forest, rice field, lake, swamp, desert, island, or even a barrio or a town. Different levels in an ecosystem. As you can see on the table, we have here ecosystem, community, population, and individual. Species. Smallest group an organism belongs to is called species. It is a group of organisms that can, and normally do, produce offsprings that are capable of reproducing. Population. Population is an organism of the same species that live together and reproduce in a particular area at a given time. All of one specific kind of organism living in a community. Community. Community is a group of different populations that live together in the same area and depend on each other for food. All the living things in an ecosystem. Ecosystem. Ecosystem, it is made up of a community of organisms that are in a constant interaction with their environment. Components of ecosystem. Biotic and abiotic. Biotic can be grouped into producers, consumers, and decomposers. While abiotic, it includes light, water, air, and temperature. These factors determine the growth and survival of organisms. They limit or control populations and stimulate organisms to adapt to their environment. Biotic components. The biotic components are classified as follows. Producers, also called autotrophs. They are mostly green plants that make food from simple substances like air, water, and light energy. Consumers, also called heterotrophs. They are the macro consumers, large or big consumers in an ecosystem. These are the animals that feed on plants and or other animals. Herbivores are consumers that eat only plants. Examples are horses, goats, and cows. Carnivores are consumers that eat only other animals. Examples are lions, tiger, and eagles. Omnivores are consumers that eat both plant and animals. Dogs, cats, and people are omnivores. Decomposers, also called as saprophytes. They are micro-consumers. These are bacteria, fungi such as molds. They break down the complex compounds in the tissues of dead plants and animals. They absorb some of the decomposition products and release simple substances which in turn are used by plants. Abiotic components. Light or solar energy. The sun gives of solar or light energy. Solar energy warms the earth, evaporates water that falls as rain, and produces wind. The more important role of light energy from the sun is in the production of food by plants. The food making process is called photosynthesis. Water. It is very important to all living things. Plants need it for making food. Animals need to drink water in order to survive. When humans use water for various activities, produce energy for the organism to survive and grow. Air. It plays a vital role in life processes. Plants and animals need oxygen for respiration. Respiration is the process of combining oxygen with food molecules to produce energy for the organism to survive and grow. Temperature. It affects organisms. The activities of some organisms depend on changes in their environment's temperature. Each organism has a specific temperature requirement in order to survive. Soil. Most organisms, except fishes, need a substrate on which to live. Soil provides the substrate for most of these organisms. It contains minerals, nutrients, and organic materials needed to support life. Let's have an activity. Match the item in column A with those in column B. Write the letters on them. Do you often see the ecosystem shown in the upper picture? They are natural ecosystem. Rivers, forests, and coastal areas have existed before you, your parents, or your great-grandparents were even born. The lower picture shows ecosystem created by people for their convenience. These are what we call man-made ecosystem. What is biodiversity? It is a variety of animals and plants found in an ecosystem. It is the measure of stability of an ecosystem. The variety of flora and fauna in an ecosystem is called biodiversity. See in the picture that the first to grow in the exposed area were the lichens and mosses. Lichens are algae and fungi that live together and grow on bare rocks. They anchor the soil and add materials and chemicals that make the soil richer. As the rock surface changes, the lichens are less able to survive. Other organisms then grow on the better soil. Larger, more complex plants begin to grow. These plants provide a thick cover over the ground and consumers begin to enter the area. As community dies and decomposes, more nutrients are added to the soil. This leads to an increase in the number and variety of organisms. Small shrubs and quick-growing trees begin to grow in the area. New habitats are created for more species of organisms and hence new communities are created. Soon the higher nutrient content of soil enables larger trees to grow in the area. These larger trees provide so much shade that the smaller trees die out. When these larger trees die, trees belonging to the same species will replace them. These dominant species form the last community in the succession. They are called the climax community. A climax community does not change unless a major change occurs in the environment. There are three kinds of ecosystem that dominates in the Philippines. These are the rainforest, freshwater ecosystem, and coastal ecosystem. Tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests are rich in biodiversity. Many of the plants and animals found in these forests are not found elsewhere. However, our rainforests are fast disappearing because of kaingin and illegal logging. Second one is mangrove ecosystem. Mangrove ecosystems are located in brackish or salty and muddy water. Their biotic components include the woody trees species and the plants and animals that interact with these trees. Mangroves provide food and shelter to various marine organisms. The root system of these trees is unique. In depth, the roots are able to get oxygen from the air above the water. They form an umbrella-like structure that serves as shelter for aquatic life forms. Coastal ecosystem. Coastal ecosystems are of the three kinds: mangroves, coral reefs, and seagrasses. All these ecosystems serve as habitats for a great number of marine organisms. However, they are all threatened by destructive human activities such as dynamite fishing and logging. Coral reef ecosystem. Coral reefs are natural structures that form from one layer of skeletons of corals, which are microscopic animals that secrete lime. The lime that corals secrete forms cavities within which they are anchored themselves. When they die, they leave behind their lime skeletons and the layer piles up as more coral live and die. It takes about 5 years for a coral reef to grow an inch. Seagrass ecosystem. Seagrass ecosystems serve as meadows in the sea. Seagrass serves as primary food source for most plant-eating marine animals such as the dugong or sea cow, turtles, sea urchins, and some fishes. Rice field ecosystem. A rice field is a man-made ecosystem. We develop rice fields to increase rice production. In a rice field, we find plants like rice, weeds, shrubs, and a few trees. Insects, frogs, worms, snails, and even rats also live in rice fields. Urban ecosystem. Urban ecosystem refers to the areas where people have settled and created communities. An urban ecosystem includes people's houses, schools, churches, stores, hospitals, business districts, and other establishments needed by people in order to meet their needs. Let's have an activity. Match the item in column A with those in column B. Write the letter only. Activity B, fill in the blanks. Write your answer on the space provided. And last, activity C. Answer the following questions. Number 1. Why are both biotic and abiotic components important in an ecosystem? And number 2, why do we need to protect our natural ecosystem? Write your answer on a piece of paper. Congratulations, my dear students! You have finished the Learning Strand 2, the ecosystem. May you continue to enrich the knowledge you have learned today. Thank you so much for listening. May you be able to apply what you have learned today in your day-to-day living. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, DepEd Lawag City, and to our Facebook page, Plan Balik Eskwela, DepEd Lawag City. Once again, I am Teacher Vincent. Sa ALS, matututo ka, tara na! Happy learning mga ka-ALS! Goodbye!